Hello and welcome to our daily devotion where we share this one thing from our Revised Common Lectionary for Wednesday, July the 22nd. My name is Pam Maston. I'm one of the associate pastors here at First Presbyterian Church of Fort Lauderdale, and thank you so much for joining me today. Don't you love when a Bible passage becomes clear in real life? You know the scripture passage and you think you understand it. But then you see it play out before your very eyes. You really get it then, and it all makes sense. Well, this happened to me a few years ago when I was leading a medical mission team in the basin of the Amazon River. Our church partnered with World Hope Missions Ministry, and we served on a boat with medical professionals who gave up their vacation time to provide medical care for women, men, and children who had no means or resources. We had dentists, nurses, pediatricians, and even a pharmacy set up on the boat, and we would travel from village to village. The people in the villages spoke Portuguese, and they would come to the boat bringing their entire families to be seen by a doctor for a variety of illnesses. We worked closely with the local missionaries, who also served as translators. After hours, we would have worship in the village and we could mingle with the locals. And one night, some of our team members found that one of the locals was selling alcohol. Being far away from home and working long hours on the boat, several decided to purchase a drink in the name of helping out the locals while enjoying refreshment. But shortly after the interaction, one of the local missionaries came looking for me. Pam, you need to do something, and you need to do something now. Unaware that there was a problem, I was surprised. The missionary said that our team members were causing some of the locals to stumble. And she quoted scripture saying something about not putting any stumbling block or obstacle in your brother's way. Apparently, many of the locals were struggling with drinking, and if they saw the Americans drinking and bringing the gospel message to the village, then it would be confusing for them. Needless to say, our team members did not enjoy that kind of refreshment for the duration of the trip. In the book of Romans, Paul is writing to the Roman Christians to resolve to never put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of a brother or sister. It's right there in the 14th chapter of Romans and is one of our Revised Common Lectionary passages for today. Paul is writing to the believers in Rome to explain how the gospel heals division between Jewish and Gentile believers. Both Jews and Gentiles are sinners, and both must learn to apply the gospel to practical living. And one of the issues that divided the Christians in ancient Rome was certain ritual requirements of the Old Testament law. Some of the Roman Christians felt strong about adhering to ongoing dietary and ceremonial requirements of the law, while others felt no obligation to adhere to what they saw as obsolete standards that were fulfilled by Christ. And both sides held what they saw as biblical arguments to support their view. Though Romans 14 issues might look different today, Paul's point about matters of conscience are still the same. We must refrain from exercising our freedom in ways that would pressure or encourage another believer to sin by going against his or her own conscience. And the bottom line for Paul was love. That's what the Brazilian missionary was trying to tell the Americans. Well, closer to home, closer after my revelation in the area of stumbling blocks, my husband and I took the kids to an old-fashioned swimming hole, and there was a swinging bridge over the swimming hole. Now, some in our family could run across the bridge without using the handrails. Some were not afraid and kept their balance well. They weren't concerned about the swaying of the bridge or danger of falling. Some can do that, Others cannot. Some shake and tremble and move somewhat slower. But if you give them time, they begin to pick up courage. And I think that's what Paul is saying in verse 15. If your brother or sister is distressed because of what you eat, you are no longer acting in love. In other words, if you drag someone across the swinging bridge, he or she might lose their balance and could even fall off the bridge or get hurt. Friends, we have to adjust the pace sometimes in the name of Christian love. That's what the apostle is urging us to do here. This one thing for today may best be summarized by the Protestant reformer Martin Luther, who wrote this about Paul's teaching in the 14th chapter. One should carefully guide those with weak conscience and spare them. One shouldn't use Christian freedom to harm, but rather to help the weak. Friends, such an important message from Paul and Luther to us. Thank you so much for joining me today. I miss seeing you in person. Stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow.